be in Austin, and I will be advocating for all good things in South Texas.
How do we get Congressman Cuellar on the screen? Do we have to turn your iPad around so the camera can pick it up? At this point, there we go. There we go. Turning it around. Okay. How are we doing
Hey,
that,
how's everybody doing? I'm on right now.
And we need to have.
Good. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing great, Henry. How are you doing? How are you doing? May the 20, May 24th. That's election day, and that's the day that people in Zapata. Star in Zapata. Is Zapata in your district?
It is.
Yeah.
Zapata, I'm sorry that I'm losing Hidalgo County. Hidalgo County is very, 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 very special. So I'll be representing Hidalgo County to the end of the year. As you know, this was a change made by the state legislature, and so I'm sorry that I'm gonna lose Hidalgo, but I'm still gonna go there, and I still want to help Hidalgo, the Valley, Cameron County, in any way I can, because as you know, I'm the only Democrat from the state of Texas in the House Appropriations, and I certainly want to make sure I advocate for everybody, especially the border area. Let me say something. First of all, thank you for the invitation, for allowing me here. But I have to say something about my special friend, Eddie Lucio. Eddie and I go back a long way, like I said a few minutes ago. We started together as state representatives, and Eddie's a dear friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, and we've known each other. I think we met in 1986 as member-elects with Larry Warner, with Renato Cuellar, myself, and so we went up to Austin as freshmen. And ever since that, I saw something very, very special about Eddie Lucio. And again, Eddie, I know you won't be there as a state senator, but you did a heck of a job as a state rep and as a senator. And people understand, people get it, and we appreciate all the good work that you have.
Thank you very much, Congressman. I want to thank you for that. But I just want to ask you one question. Did Speaker Gib Lewis ever learn how to pronounce Cuellar? Because there was two of you, Henry Cuellar from Laredo and Renato Cuellar from Westlaco, and he used to refer to both of you as Cellular 1 and Cellular 2 back then. And I'm still laughing because I don't see how anyone could not pronounce the name Cuellar. So anyway, we appreciate you, Henry. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You're right. Former Speaker Gib Lewis will call Renato and myself Cellular 1 and Cellular 2. And I would always tell Renato, may he rest in peace, I might be number 1 or I might be number 2, depending on what the issue was on that. But again, Eddie, it's always a pleasure. I look forward. In fact, one of the last times you and I were together, we met Pope Francis. And we were in Rome, and we prayed together, and
That's
we
right.
Walked up and we crawled on our knees. We went up there on one of the churches, and again, I want to thank you for your strong religious beliefs that you have, Eddie. So thank you for giving me that blessing to spend time with you at the Vatican with the Pope. So again, we're here to talk again a little bit about economic development and ports of entry, whether they're seaports or whether they're land ports or airports. They're so important because every day trade between the U.S. and Mexico is every 1 minute there's $1 million of trade every single minute between the U.S. and Mexico. Texas is the number 1 trading partner with Mexico of all the 50 states. So we understand why trade is important. So we certainly, in the approach, I certainly want to support airports, but especially land ports and the seaports that we have, like the one we have in South Texas. So count me, even though I don't represent that area, but count me as a friend. And we worked with a delegation, especially Senator Forney, in a bipartisan way, and with our friend Senator Lucio also, to make sure we got funding. And as the senator said, once this is developed, you're going to see economic development. You're going to see jobs are being created. And any great country has to have trade. And certainly here in the state of Texas, we understand the importance of trade, the two-way trade that we have.
Congressman Cuellar, do you realize the impact that you have had on Port Mansfield with that original $17 million appropriation that you came up with after I made a trip up to D.C. and talked to you and also Senator Cornyn about the fact that we needed to dredge that port so desperately? That money came in 5 weeks. You don't get money out of D.C. in 5 weeks, but you came up with it. Now we're looking at $250 million in projected economic activity and warehouses being built at the Port Mansfield. And those are going to have 500,000 square foot warehouses in Laredo, in Webb County, in Starr County, Rio Grande City, in Roma, and at the Port San Antonio and Bexar County, all in your district. All because of an original $17 million that you came up with. Amazing, transformational, job creation, unbelievable.
Well, thank you so much, Ron. I'm just part of the team. I'm a small part of the team, working with both state officials and local officials and federal officials. I'm just part of the team. I just want to do my part in this effort. Economic development, as you said, it's going to have from it's going to be done there. It's going to have a ripple effect. And as that waves of economic development goes from the port out into the inland and to the cities and the counties that you mentioned, that will create jobs. And some of the, one of the things we notice, anytime there's a recession, look at what are the jobs that usually keep going at the end or the last ones to be hit. Those are the ones involved in international trade. So when we create jobs that are related to international trade, transportation, logistics, freight forwarding, custom brokerage, either direct or indirect jobs. What that means is that you're going to have a strong foundation, because when there's a recession, trade is one of the last ones that's impacted, and it's usually one of the first ones that bounces back when we're getting out of recession. So in the pandemic, we talked about the supply chain. And maybe we saw that in LA, but in Texas, our people kept working. The supply chain kept going, and that says a lot about the state of Texas. And also, if you look at the private jobs that were created this last month, you know who was the number one creator? The state of Texas, and that's because we got leaders at the local basis, at the local level, leaders like Eddie Lucio, federal colleagues working together with our state partners, and Texas has been the number one creator of jobs in the country, and that's because a lot of it because of trade.
Congressman Cuellar, you mentioned working with across the aisle and working with Senator Cornyn, and all of those things that you and Senator Lucio have just discussed. That's an anathema to the people who are opposing you with all these big, giant TV budgets that have been funding the TAC ads in San Antonio that I saw last weekend when I was in San Antonio and are seeing here in the Rio Grande Valley. Have you been able to withstand the nationally funded attacks on you? Are you confident?
When you look at the we feel very confident about this race, and we're going to keep working on it. Look, when you look at opensecrets.com, you will see that my opponent's money, 99% of it, 99% of it comes out outside the district. 99% of our money comes out of the district.
Something on
when you look at the endorsements that she has all this, a few senators, a few congresswomen that are outside the state of Texas. I got 171 local public officials from my district that are endorsing me, including the national leaders like Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, Clyburn, Hakeem, the chairman of the Black Caucus, the chairman of the Hispanic Caucus. They all support me. And I'd rather get not only those national leaders, but the leaders that are here, the local public officials, because I think this decision needs to be made by the people of South Texas. and that's very important. The final thing is this thing about bipartisanship. I support bipartisanship very much because, unfortunately, somebody in Washington has come up with a standard that you have to agree with me 100%. Somebody came up with that standard, and whether you're married or you have a spouse or a partner, you can't agree with anybody 100%. There's just no way. In fact, Abe Koch, the former mayor of New York, once said, if you agree with me 7 out of 10 times, you vote for me. And if you agree with me 100% of the time, then you need to go see a